So today I'm going to talk about building successful brands through the lens of emotional intelligence. And I'll start with a personal story. I am from New York City, where you can shop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Yes, I live in Chicago, but I am a New Yorker through and through. And no matter what you want to buy in New York, no matter what time of the day you want to buy it, you can get it in New York City. I remember the first time I went shopping without my mother. I went shoe shopping with two of my very, very best friends, Billy and Cookie. Such cool names. My nickname was Val, not as cool as Billy and Cookie. But it was back to school time, and I was starting high school for the very first time. And I begged my mother to go shopping with my friends. Mom, please let me go. And against her better judgment, she said yes, maybe because I was going to high school. I was geeked, I was so excited, and I had a chance to prove to my mother this was my opportunity to buy quality shoes. You see, that was her thing. High quality shoes that fit well, lasted long, and were leather. For years, I was stuck with black or brown shoes that smelled like leather for months because mommy did not believe in cute shoes that hurt your feet. From the time I was 5 and in kindergarten, I heard never buy shoes too small for your feet, Lavelle. You'll end up with blisters and bunions and feet that hurt. I could never get cute shoes that were in style. We weren't rich, so places we could afford to shop had very few selections, either high quality black or brown shoes or cute, cheap, colorful shoes. So shopping with mommy did not allow me to show up at school like my best friends with cute, cheap, and colorful shoes. But this time, I wasn't going with mommy, so I could buy my own shoes. Well, guess what? The logical mommy wasn't with me, but what was with me was the emotion behind finding cute, cheap, and colorful shoes. I heard logic in my head. I heard buy high quality, and I even saw a few black and brown shoes. But my emotions took over when I saw the cutest tan, fake leather shoes. I was ecstatic and I was so happy. I got my shoes. And the bonus was my two very best friends, Billy and Cookie, they found a pair in their size too. We could now be triplets in the shoe category, except the cutest shoes ever didn't exactly come in my size. They were half a size too small. So I did what any emotionally irrational person would do. I ignored logic and purchased with emotion. So despite the possible dangers of the blisters and bunions and two messed up feet that mommy talked about, I purchased my very first pair of cute, cheap, and colorful shoes. And within 1 week, I got the biggest, the fattest, the ugliest blister ever on the back of my right foot. I was out of school for 3 weeks, true story. And to this day, I still have the blister the size of a half a dollar on my right foot, which proves this lesson. Never, ever buy cheap, cute, colorful shoes that are too small for your feet. But more importantly, remember this powerful point. People don't buy for logical reasons, they buy for emotional ones. While working at Leo Burnett Advertising Agency here in Chicago, we didn't just focus on creating great brands. Yes, great advertising was important to the agency, but getting customers to stop what they were doing to watch, listen, and learn about all of the amazing ways our products could fix it, cure it, or solve it, that was the task. Finding the right emotion that would ignite our customers enough for them to pause and take notice and take action to buy the product, that was the ultimate goal. You see, branding is more than just a logo, a website, or a business card. It really is an experience. And as business owners, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the branding and marketing space, it is your job to find the right emotion behind every product and service that you sell. So, for example, Hallmark, one of the brands I worked on at Leo Burnett, we didn't just sell greeting cards, we sold love, sex, and relationships. Or Nike. No, they don't just sell sneakers, they sell a just do it attitude. And of course, the swish sound. And McDonald's Worldwide. We don't just go there for burgers and fries. No, we go for trust, conveniency, consistency, and mom goodness. So when I first got assigned Disney while I was at Lil Burnett, that was one of my favorite all-time brands to work on. I was like a kid in the candy store, but all I could remember was Mickey Mouse and those ears. So Disney, they don't just sell rides in an amusement park, they sell magic. Now, here's what the numbers say when it comes to powerful branding. 90% of buying decisions are made subconsciously. And while most text is written at a third grade reading level, humans process visuals 60,000 times faster than text. Wow. And 50% of our branding experience is based on our emotions. So what exactly is an emotion? And what types of emotions do humans respond to? Well, an emotion is a feeling, a physiological response that influences our thoughts and our behaviors, like a giggle or a lump in your throat, or your heart racing and your knees shaking. An emotion will cause your mind and your body to do something. And while humans may be smart and intelligent, well, most of us, we still mostly respond to just 4 basic emotions: anger, fear, happiness, and sadness. So, what is this emotional branding all about? And what is the intelligence behind building successful brands? Oftentimes, brands attempt to use the shock value to promote their product. Yes, it gets everyone's attention, but sometimes it causes alarm and can be quite unsettling for customers. But when done right, like in this ad for WWF, the thought of us all changing into fish if we don't take care of the planet is actually scary. And it's also impactful. Here, fear works. Emotional branding uses emotional intelligence when selling products or services. Brands who are aware of their customer, they've researched the emotion they want to trigger, and they're informed about situations and scenarios that will move the customer. Brands that are responsive to customer reactions. So let's talk a little bit about Aristotle, the Greek god. He's the one who actually created the foundation of persuasive marketing techniques. Aristotle coined the terms ethos, pathos, and logos. And there are 3 powerful tools used in emotional branding. So I'll cover a few. Ethos, it's all about the credibility and authority, like the doctor or expert in athletics, or the social media influencer who endorses a product or service. Ethos in branding can take many forms: quoting experts in a field, using testimonials from customers, and even case studies from universities. When we appeal to a person's ethos, we're building trust and credibility within our industry and establishing our brand as an authority in the space. And then there's pathos. It's all about the emotion and imagination. Pathos will motivate our customers to take action by creating a sense of urgency. Some of us may be familiar with the fear of missing out, FOMO. However, we should not make the customer feel like their emotions are being manipulated. We have to be really careful in this area. And lastly, there's logos. It's all about logic and reason. This is Aristotle's most persuasive pillar, and it's very dependent upon the other 2. Pointing out facts and statistics, that's what logos is all about. But sometimes logic isn't enough to make a customer take action. We actually need the connection between our customers' emotions and their logic. Now, you don't have to have all 3 appeals in your branding, but if you are able to balance them all, you will have one emotionally powerful brand. So here's a few brands that tapped into Aristotle's emotional branding and use emotional intelligence in selling. So I have a few that we can explore. Nike. It tapped into our ethos using credibility of an athlete and the social injustices of the world. And then there's Always by Procter & Gamble. It tapped into our pathos, using the imagination and emotions to make women feel empowered and confident by turning the tables on the term like a girl. And then Bounty, they wanted to sell paper towels. So they tapped into our logos of logic and reason, using percentages to sell a better paper towel product. The emotional intelligence used in successful brands will pull the emotional trigger and make your customers respond. Brands with emotions are more profitable. Customers are more willing to share their experiences with others, and by far, they are more impactful. So as we explore your brand, and as you take a closer look, here are some of the highlights I don't want you to forget when it comes to emotional branding. That emotional brands have to do with the emotional intelligence and what's behind your product or service that you're selling. That humans and their emotional responses are what's going to drive customers to you. That Aristotle has 3 amazing branding appeals: ethos, pathos, and logos. And that brands will pull at the emotional trigger. And finally, here are some do's and don'ts when it comes to the world we're in. A few of them are: don't ignore the power of emotions. Emotions make us human, so use them to connect with your customer. Don't use rational content. Yeah, it makes sense, but it can be quite boring. So use words that make you feel. Do create a connection between your brand and the customer. Find that emotional trigger, like Hallmark commercials for the holidays or Coca-Cola with the polar bears. And when telling a story, find one thing about your brand, your product, or service that makes a human connection, like how you got started, how the business may have flopped the first time around, or tell a story about what or who is the reason behind you starting the business or selling the product or service in the first place. Lastly, make sure you know the emotion you want to trigger. Know your target, the purpose behind the brand, and the brand personality. Now, that's a different presentation. Brand personality, so important. But knowing the personality of your brand will help you know the emotion you want your customer to connect with. Branding is not what something says or what it means, but it's how it makes us feel. So do me a favor now. Take a look at this quick video. I want you to feel what it's saying, feel how it moves the people and the crowd, and then think about the brands that have emotionally moved you. Those will be some of the same emotions you want to use in building your very successful brand.
My heart doesn't see race.
Love has no age limit.
That's my best friend.
We are neighbors and best friends.
We all have different religions, but we have universal love as well.
I love my sister.
So I hope you enjoy tapping into the emotional intelligence of branding. My name is Lavelle Smith Hall. I'd love to connect again with you on LinkedIn, Facebook, or via email. And as you move into 2022 and what's next, remember this: people will forget what you said and even what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And that applies not only to people, but to our products and services.